Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our Genesis chapter 6, a really, really pivotal moment. We're talking about why an entire world basically got a reset button pushed.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. We've got sources looking at intense human corruption, divine judgment, but also, interestingly, how life was preserved through it all.
It's definitely more than just an old story, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. He tells us so much about the consequences of, well, widespread depravity and God's reaction, a pretty extraordinary reaction, actually.
And it sets the stage for, well, everything that follows.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this. What do the sources say led to such extreme judgment? Sounds like it wasn't just everyday mistakes.
Not at all.
And then let's get into the story of Noah, this one guy who somehow found favor when everything was falling apart, and the massive boat he built.
Right, an incredible undertaking.
So, starting before the flood, our sources describe humanity's state as this: alarming escalation of moral decay. Population was booming, but things apparently got, weird.
Weird is a good word for it. A really central point, and one that gets a lot of debate, is this union mentioned between the sons of God and the daughters of men.
Okay, sons of God. Who were they?
Well, there are different views,
Hmm?
but a strong interpretation based on how the term Bene Elohim is used elsewhere in the Old Testament suggests they were fallen angels.
Fallen angels. Okay, wow. That takes it to another level.
It does. It suggests a supernatural element to the corruption that was happening.
And this is where it gets really interesting, isn't it? These unnatural unions produced offspring.
Yes, the Nephilim, described as the fallen ones, sometimes translated as giants, also called heroes of old, men of renown.
Heroes of old. It sounds almost mythical.
It does. And connecting the dots, some sources suggest this was like a cosmic infiltration of evil. Fallen angels physically interacting with humans.
Okay, hang on. One interpretation goes even further, right? Something about genetics.
Yeah, it's a pretty striking interpretation that this was a deliberate attempt to, quote, pollute mankind's genetic pool, like a kind of genetic
A
virus.
virus. Why?
To prevent the birth of the seed of the woman, that's the Messiah, promised way back in Genesis 3:15, to basically corrupt humanity so fundamentally that the rescuer couldn't come through that line.
That's a wild thought. It certainly raises the stakes for why God might intervene so drastically.
Exactly. What kind of corruption provokes a worldwide flood? Maybe something this profound.
And even beyond these specific unions, the sources paint a bleak picture overall. Every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil all the time.
All the time. Not just sometimes. And the earth was full of violence. It wasn't just isolated incidents, it was the atmosphere.
So it wasn't just bad actions, it was the core.
Precisely. The sources point to total depravity. Sin wasn't just on the surface. It had tainted, every part of human nature. Thoughts, desires, everything.
And that internal state is what led to God's reaction.
That seems to be the key. God's grief, mentioned in the text, wasn't just disappointment. It was this profound, righteous sorrow over the rebellion and the state of humanity's heart. It necessitated a radical reset, a purification.
So the judgment, he was grieved that he had made man. What did that lead to?
Well, that grief reflects his holiness reacting to sin. But there's also patience. He declared, "My spirit will not contend with man forever. His days will be 120 years."
It's 120 years? That's often seen as a grace period.
Exactly. A window of opportunity, a testament to God's patience before the judgment finally came. The flood, then, wasn't just destruction. It was also a redemptive act, to cleanse the earth and salvage humanity through a pure line.
Which brings us to Noah.
Right. Amidst all this darkness, Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord.
And he's described as righteous, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked with God. Pretty high praise.
Very high praise. And there's a fascinating phrase, perfect in his generations.
What does that imply? More than just being a good guy.
Some sources argue yes. It refers not just to his moral character, but potentially, crucially, to him being genetically pure, uncorrupted by that viral infiltration we talked about.
So his genetic integrity was as important as his faith.
For the purpose of continuing a pure human line, potentially yes. It adds this almost biological layer to God's plan. Fascinating stuff.
So because Noah met these criteria, God made a covenant, a promise to preserve humanity through him.
Yes. And that involved giving Noah some incredibly detailed instructions. Build an ark.
And not just any boat. The scale described in the sources is just huge.
It's mind-boggling. 300 cubits long, 50 wide, 30 high. We're talking roughly 510 feet. That's nearly 1.5 football fields long.
Wow. Can you even picture that?
It's massive. NASA figured you could lay 3 space shuttles nose to tail on its roof and the cargo space, like 450 standard semi-trailers.
Good grief. That level of detail really underscores God's meticulous planning, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Nothing left to chance.
And the key thing, Noah did everything just as God commanded him. Simple obedience.
But incredibly profound in that context. That unwavering obedience was critical.
So, wrapping this part up, it's a powerful story.
It truly is. It speaks volumes about God's justice and holiness against pervasive sin, but also his incredible mercy and his plan for preservation. He didn't just wipe the slate clean entirely. He saved a remnant.
And it has echoes later on, doesn't it? Didn't Jesus reference this time?
He did. He compared the days before the flood, things like population explosion, sexual perversion, widespread evil, to the conditions that would exist before his own second coming.
So the ark becomes more than just a boat in a story.
It becomes this powerful symbol of salvation, safety provided by God amidst judgment.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe, for you listening.
Right. If Noah's selection involved being, let's say, uncorrupted morally and perhaps even biologically in a world drowning in corruption, what does it mean for you today?
In our own complex world, what does it really mean to walk blamelessly and find favor?
Something to think about.